Yeah, right. All right, it's 9 p.m. and we'll start. So, welcome everyone to the 14th session of the TT series. And today's theme is debate like a pro using the M3 technique. So, I'll share the technique right now with you all. Please let me know once you see my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
All right. All right, the M3 technique, quite simple. So it's about matter, manner, and method. So these are the three things you need to consider while you would be debating in the further rounds. So when it comes to matter, keep ready all your logical arguments, the general knowledge, the evidences, and all those persuasive arguments. You need to consider that in your head, and you'll be given 1 minute to think about the topic. So in that 1 minute, you have to build up all that arguments. And the second part is the manner in which you would be speaking, right? So the confidence, the voice, you don't have to fight as if you are in the Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha meeting. You have to be very what can we say, that you have to be confident, silently confident, and voice out your opinion in a fair manner, use proper gesture, and have a right stance. And then the method is to deliver all your arguments in a coherent manner. So whatever you speak, it should make sense. That's very important. So please explain all your points very logically. And the rebuttal that you would be making, it should also be convincing. So that's the M3 format. I hope everybody got the format. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Yes, let me stop sharing the screen. And few more things. I would like to reiterate that please use as many facts as you can to support all your arguments. And whenever you give or say a point, demonstrate thorough understanding of that information. All the arguments should be logical and convincing. The delivery needs to be confident, clear, maintain the eye contact, see in the camera, and make sure that you are not too slow or too fast. And please address all the opponent arguments with counter evidence, proper counter evidence. Yes, now let's start the debate session. So there is a reason why I gave you all the names A, B, C, D. So basically there will be 3 rounds, and in those 3 rounds I'll have 2 sub rounds, okay? And everybody would get the chance to participate in the debate. First, we'll start with A versus B. Okay, I'll give you a topic, and A and B. A will go for against, B is going to go for, and C will be evaluating A, and D will evaluate B. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, it is.
Yes, and the time limit for evaluation is exactly 1 minute. I'll mute you after 1 minute. It's very strict. Okay. And I have already shared the points on which you should be evaluating. So whatever I have told, that how the debate should be, according to that, it should have a clear speech, and the arguments should be logical, consistent, coherent. That is how you evaluate. And within 1 minute, you have to complete the evaluation. So if you want to skip the good points that we always say in the start of our evaluation, you can skip that and directly jump to the feedback. All right, is that clear to everyone? So A means Balveer against Mohit. And yes, C will evaluate, again I'm repeating, C will evaluate A and D will evaluate B. All right, let me share the topic.
I will be speaking for the motion, right?
B, yes.
For the motion. Thank you.
Also, one more thing. Okay, once A starts speaking, after 1 minute, I'll ask B to speak, okay? And then B will present the argument, 1 minute given to him. And then after 1 minute, I'll jump to again A and then B. That's how we'll go. 1 minute. Okay. Let me start. Let me give the topic. Yes, happiness can be bought for money. Happiness can be bought for money. Is it clear to everyone? The topic? Okay, so there is 1 minute for you to think about it. It starts now.
Can you share on what points they are to be evaluated? Like I might have missed it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should I start?
Just a minute. After 1 minute.
Okay. I don't know how logical I'll be.
Take that 1 minute. You have to speak for 2 minutes and all. And you have to also listen to the counter arguments. So start thinking in your mind that what the other person might say about it and how should I overcome that. All right, 1 minute done. B, please start.
Okay. So
B, please
happiness
start.
can be
Not,
bought.
no, not A, not A. B. I said B.
I'm starting. Okay. So we all must have read, I'm sure most of us must have read The Gift of Magi by O. Henry. Now, over there, the particular plot is known to most of us, but what we have realized in that plot is that there's two types of happiness that one can actually achieve. One sort of happiness is something that money can buy you, which is known as a materialistic gains, like say car or something which is very desirable for you, and it is something which you get through money, through exchange of money. And then there is something which can actually be satiated through satiated through love, or this kind of psychological happiness that we're talking about. Now we have often seen that this has been a recurrent theme, is that psychological happiness is something which is very ephemeral in nature, something which sort of fades down over a period of time. But materialistic happiness is something which is there throughout. If you love, if you have a desire for something that will be bought for money, it is going to be there consistent, and it is perennial in nature. It is perpetual, it is never ending. So
A,
it is,
please
I
start.
think that it's a logical it's
B,
it's
please
very
stop and A, please start.
I totally disagree with the fellow Toastmaster. I feel money can not buy happiness. I have seen in my personal and professional life, whenever I am with my friends, I feel I enjoy a lot, and I feel those are the moments which I want to repeat again and again, and that those moments and that friendship circle give me happiness. Other thing is, when I had money, I bought a piece of land. I was a little short of money, and I had to ask somebody to help me on that amount. And since then I got that land, I'm in tension. I'm always thinking how can I repay my loan amount, and I'm always upset because of this piece of land. If I would not have money, I would never think about the.
Yeah, A, please stop. B, start.
I think that this sort of happiness which A has been talking about, it's something which is dependent again upon the money. And I think that it is somewhat correlated, because would the friends which you have would actually be your friends if you wouldn't have had that sort of the financial status which you are in. If your spouse or your say your relatives or something would have actually maintained that cordial relation with you if you were in a situation of penury, So I think that it is something which is being dependent upon it, and money is something which creates a conduit for the psychological happiness. And if you break that particular conduit, there's actually no end. You won't actually be getting the psychological happiness. So I think that definitely psychological happiness is very essential for us, but it is somewhat dependent upon the kind of materialistic gains which you have. Because if you have a materialistic gain, there are high chances that you would be having a psychological sort of happiness if you have. But the other way around, it's something which is, yeah. Should I restop?
So when we talk about the psychological happiness, I believe that psychological happiness cannot be bought through the money. Whenever we are with our friends, with our nearest and dearest, we feel comfortable, we enjoy, we cherish those moments, and we become very happy. So there is no money involved. Like we see, like a child, whenever a child is with the mother, he is the most happiest person in the planet. So there is no money involved. A child, for a mother, only love. That is the love, which is unconditional love, and a child feels the happiest with the mother. So material things like psychological happiness cannot be bought through the money. Like material things you mentioned, those things can be, but those
Yes,
material things
please.
are for the time being.
Thank you so much, guys. It's 4 minutes and I enjoyed the debate thoroughly. Trust me, I really loved it. And now I'll go ahead with C. C, please evaluate A.
So the participant, Balveer, for you, I would like to say that you spoke very well. You were confident and you were putting your points in a very good manner. And you also covered some points of the money, the effects of money in relationships and in many other aspects that the things that money can't buy. And my recommendation is feedback. I would like to give that you could have covered more points like money can't buy health also. Like people nowadays, it is now happening nowadays that people are spending so much money to buy health. Their money lakhs of rupees, and they have money but they are not happy because there are many things that money can't buy. But in other way, if the debate, if from the point of view of debate between A and B, so you are equally effective and you are putting very good points against it. Over to you, Poorva.
Yes. D, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, fellow Toastmaster. So, Toastmaster B, I really liked the knowledge or the general knowledge that you displayed for the very fact of understanding of the topic, be it quoting books or something, or even like what do you say? Appreciating the existence of psychological happiness in the very first start of your speech. You displayed excellent knowledge about the topic and experience. And I also really loved how you displayed confidence, like while even doing rebuttals. You were very calm and poised while doing your rebuttals. My only recommendation for you is to structure your thoughts better. Only if you could have given that one subtle point of rebuttal in your initial speech, the speaker didn't even have content to bring up, because the whole content revolved upon how psychological happiness is also dependent on materialism. So if you could have just brought it up in your initial speech only, we could have got some fresh content in the next speech. That's what I.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that evaluation. And for my feedback, I would say again, I felt that content was repetitive. You could have added more things. I felt when B was talking, he completely went about what that book, was telling to him, and in that points, you could have added different points. And A also the same thing. You can add it. We have multiple rounds, so don't worry, I'll practice it. But I enjoyed it. It's the beginning of the round, and the start is really good. And now in the second round, I won't say that C stop, B start speaking. When I say switch, you have to stop and the next person will speak. Okay. Oh, all right. Now C will speak for and D will go against. B will evaluate C and A will evaluate D. Is that clear to everyone? Okay. And the topic is celebrities deserve less money. Celebrities deserve less money. Your 1 minute for thinking starts now.
I'll go against, right?
Yes, you'll go against. Yes, 1 minute is done. D, please start.
I'll start.
Yes. Yes, yes.
C or D?
D, please start. D.
Oh, me. Okay. Imagine waking up one fine morning and everything you do gets judged. What you wear, how you talk, how you dress, or even a simple statement you make might be blown out of proportion. Fellow Toastmasters and all the guests present over here, if only you could live that life for one moment, you can understand the pleasures that go through the celebrities at each and every point in their life. If only we could face what they go through each and every time they get out at an airport or a public place and give those numerous selfies we ask with a smile, we can understand why do they deserve their exact recognition that they get. So I don't understand this very argument that why should they deserve less amount of money if they put twice the amount of hard work we do, and if they also put in equal amount of efforts in their job like any other skillsman or craftsman. Why should they deserve less money as we are earning from our jobs?
Which?
As we all know that celebrities are the people who have accomplished in their art or in something in their life. But it is also important to know that the celebrities are the influence of the society. So when these people are given money to speak something, they do anything for the money, and they speak those things just for the money, and it influences not only their own, it influences the whole country and everybody who follow them. For example, if we see the ad of Pepsi, then people, all the cricketers, they are saying that go for this kind of things, or go and drink Pepsi. They are doing just for the money, but the influence that is it is creating, or the impact these things have. Switch, you said switch.
Yes, switch. I said switch.
My fellow opponent just said that they're accomplished people who have done hard work and set a mark for themselves. So even in every job, as we accomplish something, as we put years of hard work, I only see that our salary increases over a period of time. So why do celebrities need to step down from their position and take less amount of salary just because their work is seen by thousands of people? And coming to being influenced by thousands of people, if one person goes and drinks Pepsi, there are also hundreds of women or hundreds of people who go and donate blood just because a person's do. There are hundreds of people who make charity for people suffering with their terminal diseases just because a celebrity does so. So if we talk about every coin has a dark side, but if we only concentrate on the dark side, there is never going to be good in our world. So we need to concentrate on the dark side. Yeah.
But I think that the word has changed. The people are using these celebrities by paying them and asking them to do those things that is not good for the society. For example, if you see the Big Boss series, then people are paid and they are shouting, they are abusing on the TV just for the money. If you see that they are doing just for the money, if there is no money involved, then these people would not come and do these things, and do, or maybe they abuse others, because the money is involved. That money should not be the art and money are separate things. So these things should not be combined. The money should be given as a reward, but now it is used to pay these people to influence others and to use these people to do the wrong things, and it is creating a lot of
Thank
bad
you. We're
impact on
done.
society.
4 minutes done. Is now B, please evaluate C.
Thank you so much, Poorva. So I think that B spoke really well. He in a very good fashion, he recognized what the celebrities are and what sort of thing they do. And the best part about his argument was that he really recognized that particular health hazard thing, that how it is influencing them to do a wrong sort of thing. So I really liked it. My only recommendation would be that he could have explained in what ways that it has been used for not so good purposes more compared to like good purposes, and the way it is exploited or ethical part of it could have been brought more, given more recognition in speech. But all in all, it was a wonderful speech and the arguments were very cogent. Over to you.
Thank you so much. A, please go ahead.
So, Speaker E, you were very eager to speak on the topic, which is excellent. That is why we are here. And you had a very clear voice, and you were trying to use the expressions as well, hand expressions, gestures. A little, I felt you were little close to your camera, so hands are coming like in front, like you can see mine now. You used very good examples, like you added Pepsi, and then you mentioned Big Boss also. So you added examples in your debate. My only recommendation is just try to stay a little calm, though it is very difficult for me also. I'm trying, but if you stay a little calm, don't try to be little aggressive or fast, not aggressive, but little fast, then I'm very sure you will do better, and you are a great speaker. And try to avoid the long pauses. I noticed 2, 3 long pauses. So little you need to avoid such pauses in future talks. And I wish you good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. A. So let me just confirm. A, who were you evaluating?
E.
D, right? D.
Yeah, D.
Yes, I thought you got mixed between C and D. Few evaluate. I thought few points.
We were talking about the examples of
Yeah.
Pepsi and Big Boss,
Yeah,
and I was thinking that what is going on, like who about whom you are
Yes.
talking.
Yeah,
I
actually, the Big Boss
remembered your
example made that confusion.
Oh yes, yes. B, please tell me what you're
Big
saying.
Boss example made it a little confusing. As to
Confusing, yes. But okay, no problem. Yes, but to give a general feedback, as an audience, as a person who is not involved in this debate, I personally felt that somewhere C had overpowered D. Although D started it really well, and the way you speak, it is very, you speak really well. But the points, I felt the rebuttal was not that strong enough, because, or maybe the topic itself is like that the celebrities definitely don't deserve that pay. I feel personally as an audience, so maybe I'm much more biased towards C. That might be the case, but I felt as an audience that C was a bit overpowering. And also C, what D did well was that whatever he explained it very clearly and coherently. Although C could have added what B is also said in the evaluation, that C could have added the morality thing in a much more clearer way. So that was a bit hazy, I guess. That was not clearly expressed, but the clarity was there in D's speech. That I really liked it. All right, guys, we are done with the first round. Now let's move towards the second round. And now it would be C versus B. C versus B. A will evaluate C and
Sorry, A will evaluate
C.
B.
C. No.
Huh?
A will evaluate C. C.
Okay, okay. C. Okay.
Yes. And D will evaluate B. Is it clear to everyone? If you have questions, please ask me. Okay, and I'll repeat it. It's C versus B, and C is going for against,
Okay.
And B will go for 4.
Okay, and B, I'm going for 4. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Marriage is unpopular in modern society. Marriage is unpopular in modern society. Your 1 minute starts right now.
Poorva, I am speaking against it, no?
Against yes. Meanwhile, evaluators can also think about multiple perspectives. And in the feedback, you can say you could have added this perspective, that perspective. No, I'm already giving you the content for evaluation. Okay, 1 minute done. B, please go ahead.
Okay. So if we move on to the English literature, and if we see that Sylvia Plath, or if it's also through the poems, certain poems like Aunt Jennifer's Tiger and other stuff, we have always seen that marriage has often been portrayed as a very compelling thing, something which binds you, something which sort of, it's like a shackles. Once you're binded, you are not able to come out of that particular thing. And it is something which has actually been a very recurrent theme in these days as well, that marriage is something which is very binding to a particular individual. It's like a social contract which you once enter into, you are compelled to sort of make it work. And this is something which I feel that sort of contravenes a particular person's autonomy which he or she has. And I think that the marriage as a institution, it's a very institutionalized concept of marriage, and things are changing. I think that marriage is something which shouldn't be working because there is psychological compatibility between two persons. And we have, even if you see with your personal experience, there are some people whom you like for a long period of time, and then suddenly you see that things don't work out well. If it's any random person, then you have an option of disposing him. But if it's your spouse, then I think that it's different.
So in last 10 years, India has moved to a modern society, and people have become open-minded. But let me tell you a story. A friend came to me, and his package is 30 lakhs per annum. His age is 32 years, 31 years. He came to me that, Burish, I'm very upset. And when I used to see him, I see him that he's having so much package, and he must be very happy. He came to me that, Muri, I'm very upset. I have lost some hairs. I said, what is the big issue? He said, the big issue is that in last 6 months, 10 girls have rejected me. I said, 10 girls rejected you just because of hairs? He's so upset, and he said, my family is in depression. I mean, I am also very tense. And so the marriage is so much a big issue that I'm seeing that the people, the very uh, achieving people, they come and stuck at this point that what should they do. There is so much social impact, or there's so much social pressure on them that their life is at stake at this point of view, at this point, because no
Which,
matter how much knowledge they have or how much they are earning, but it is
which,
impacting their life. It is switch.
I think that the arguments which you presented, the focus of those arguments were the norms related to the marriage and the preconceived notions that we have built in ourselves, and trends, what has been happening in the past. That is something which you talked of. I think that the marriage as a concept is far more egalitarian. It is far more democratic than we have actually thought of it to be. What we need to work upon is that the way we think of marriage, that there's a particular age for marriage, there is certain notions that we have, and we have to comply ourselves to that notions. I think that that is something in an area that we need that needs reworking. But I think that marriage as a concept is far more democratic. It has an ability to be something which is more of a choice rather than something which is compelling. So I think that marriage is a very unpopular concept in these days. It's more about that psychological thinking, or if there's a sort of compatibility between those persons, they don't have to give it a form of marriage. They can actually stay together with each other, or something live-in relationship.
Which
Popular these days.
Okay, friend, you are talking about, I think, those things which should happen in the country or should happen after 10 years or 20 years. But if I talk about now, the situation that is now, the things that are now happening, I can see that many people, not one, two, or three, there are so many people. I just tell you one thing, that I have a person with a neighbor. His one child is married and one child is not married. He is tense for both of them. The person who is married is also giving him tension. The person who is not married is also giving him tension. So this is not that we can just leave those things. If something is happening around us or in our family or in our society, we have to go through these things. What you are talking is an ideal situation, and that may happen in 20 years or 30 years. But if I just talk about now, that what now is it is happening, it is just very clear that marriage is very popular and people are just going through this situation, that they cannot just ignore the thing that their child has become has a 35 years of age, and they can ignore that, do
okay,
whatever you
thank
want to
you.
do.
We are done with 4 minutes. Now A, please go ahead.
All right. So speaker E, you, I, or D, sorry, sorry, sorry. Speaker D, you, I have,
C, it's speaker C.
who is speaker C? Can you raise hand, please? I want to see. I was the person who spoke last.
It is Munish. Yes, okay. Munish, please say hi.
Hi,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you have to evaluate me.
Yes, yes, right. So I evaluated you first also. So I would say I have seen a great improvement in your debate now. You instantly improved. And the best thing about your debate is whenever you speak something, you are getting quick ideas. You are adding examples with your thoughts. Like we spoke about the marriages, and then you added one example about your friend is there is a friend. It helps us to build the stories, and you are perfect in that point. So that is the one thing I liked a lot. And next thing I was expecting that we will give some examples of marriages, why it is becoming popular or not popular nowadays in society. Like the current situation, we can add the current situation and give some more examples in debates, like some people are getting married in other parts of the world, and why they are getting married like that. So that could be a little more interesting. Apart from that, I have seen that you have improved in your gestures also. Earlier, you were putting your hands in front of the camera. You made a wonderful improvement in last 2 minutes. So I feel you are a very quick learner. I wish.
Sorry, Balveer had to mute you. It's 1 minute. And as I had said earlier in the session, that after 1 minute, I'll mute. And now D, please go ahead.
Yeah, so Toastmaster B, the two things which I liked about your debating speech was, number one, how you painted this picture of how marriage has become a compulsion instead of a choice. You gave examples to prove your arguments. And number two is how you were very, very structured in your thoughts. Like when you even started a particular argument, you had a proper flow in your mind and you were poised while delivering it. My only recommendation that I have for you is to make full use of those rebuttals which come. When the opposing speaker said that there's this one friend of him who got so tired at 35 years old that he's frustrated that he isn't being married, you could have simply made use of that argument and told, then who is telling you to get married? Wait for the right girl to come. You can try a live-in or something like that, and then wait. This not compulsion and something. Just play around with the opposing speaker's words. That gives a proper choice. That's all from my side.
Thank you, D. So now the general comments that I would like to add, that guys, whatever points you need to, you might want to say in the rebuttal, that don't, I mean, it can be hypothetical as well. As long as it makes sense, it can be a tall tale sort of. That situation might not have happened in your life, but you can make it up. My neighbor said this, that, and all. You can always make it up. So don't worry. And B, let me just share it. I mean, that you seem like a professor who has done, research in all those areas. When you speak, it really seems like you're a professor of English or something like that. It is always so perfectly delivered. And yeah, I just felt like that, but that's a good thing. I heard this sort of English. I mean, this is after a long time I'm hearing it from someone. So just let me ask you, I mean, I was curious that are you a South Indian? Generally South Indians speak like this, they are very fluent and they have this accent.
No. I'm not South Indian. I'm actually Marwadi. Actually.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I just thought that maybe, and also, are you a professor of English by any chance?
I'm actually in third year of my graduation.
Okay, okay, okay. All
I
right.
I think that it's all credit goes to Norman Lewis. There's that book, Word Power Made Easy. So I've actually been referring to that for quite.
Yes, yes. It really, comes up really well. Okay. Now let's go ahead with the next round. And now it's A versus D. A versus D. A will go for, D will go for against. And okay, and C will evaluate D. C will evaluate D. B will evaluate A. Clear?
Yes.
I'll repeat it once again.
I'll be in favor.
Purva, you're not
Can you
audible.
hear? Yeah.
Purva, do we have you here with us? She's having some internet issue.
Hello. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
So it's clear, right? And also now I won't say after 4 minutes, I won't say thank you and please stop. I think so that looks very unprofessional. So let me skip that and I'll just mute you. Okay. The final participant will be directly muted and then the evaluators can start right away. All right. Let me give you the topic. Soft drugs should be legal to everyone. Soft drugs should be legal to everyone.
Can I get an example of a soft drug? I don't know what soft drug.
Soft drug is that drug which is not hard. Okay, so you know all the hard drugs. So apart from that,
Like
ones
what?
which do not have any impact.
Like I don't know. I mean, that's why I'm asking.
I've been getting a clear reference, a hard, a little softer than that.
So all the hard drugs, nicotine and heroin, all of those drugs. These are hard drugs, and I just can give you the reference of hard drugs. Okay, and everything else is soft drug. Just think like that because right now I just don't have an example. So
So
maybe
I'll be going against, right?
yes, yes,
Okay.
you're against.
Who'll be starting?
That I'll decide on the spot. Okay, 1 minute starts now. Okay, just forgot to say. Okay, we're done with the first minute. And A, please go ahead.
So the soft drugs should be legalized. I strongly recommend this thought because I was a chain smoker and I wanted to quit the smoking, but I could not find out the right way how to quit the smoking, and I could not find out the medicine because I belong to Uttarakhand and live in a remote village. So I tried to find out some medicines out there, but I hardly could find anything. Then I went to, then I came to Hyderabad and I found it very easily. So I was imagining that if I could have this medicine in my village some time back, like 2 years, 3 years back, I could quit the smoking a little early. So I feel that smoking should be, I think that these medicines should be legalized. And there are other medicines also because people are nowadays, people are getting
Hello, everyone. So imagine someone who started off consuming drugs in a very, very small quantities and leads up as an addict. Imagine the impact that it has on his or her family. Imagine the career choices he or she is bound to make when he or she becomes addicted to these kind of drugs. And when we question the legalization of soft drugs, let us not make choices only based on emotion. Let us consider facts. What could be the disadvantages of legalizing soft drugs? Number one, how much it could impact about black market, how much of corruption when it could give a rise when it comes to black market, that to drugs, which is like a hotspot for so many of our youth. And number two is how much of do you think can send off this as a correct message? Do you think we are ready to accept legalizing drugs at this point in our society? Do you think that our parents would be comfortable?
I feel that like corruption and the legalized, or whenever we legalize anything, there will be some conditions. Like majority of the Indian population live in village. If we talk about the villages, remote villages where small or medicines for headache and stomachache or some general medicines are very difficult to find out, so it's very challenging and people are getting more serious and they can it can be it can lead to a very severe problem. Suppose sometimes people are facing a little challenges like headache or some health issues, basic health issues, fever, cold, and if they do not get those medicines in village in their nearest places, they have to travel a lot they have to go to market. The medicine will cost 1 rupee.
Ladies and thank
They
you.
have to spend, they
So,
have to.
which
Thank you, Toastmaster. As you say, these small little villages which are famous for their heritage medicine. Imagine if we legalize drugs and external quantities come to their villages, or external tourism becomes a hub for drug tourism, which is very, very a living example is the state of Goa, how it has become a hub of drug tourism because there's so much of things happening around there. So if we legalize and if we even give 1% of permission to legalize drugs, the heritage which you're saying or the heritage medicines which you're saying can be corrupted by the increased amount of drug sales. So finally, I would just like to say that legalizing anything is fine. And as you said, medicines are very, very important for our health. But as you say, soft drugs, I don't think so. Soft drugs are that effective as medicines as compared to all of the other options, be it homeopathy, Ayurveda, or allopathy that are available to us. So let us all concentrate on.
yes, we're done. And now B, please go ahead.
Okay, so Toastmaster A. So I think that your topic is bang on. I really like the example which you gave. It was very strong, and I think that at that very point you had it because you gave your own example, the way you were addicted to a particular drug, and then you had a quantity of a less severe one, and that actually helped you get out of it. So it was really well done. That just one small recommendation is that a little bit of drama was needed, or is you could have actually emphasized on the sort of agony which you had, how troubled you were, and then you could have explained that the small doses of less severe ones actually helped you go out. Because I think that your opponent didn't have much strong point, but the way he presented actually made it far more appealing. But your points were far better. I think your example was just right. You hit the nail right on the thumb, and that was exactly what you did. But I think that it was just presented in a little, I should say, a less forward, in a less intense way. And if you could have actually put forth it in a very intense way, I think that you literally you would have I wouldn't have actually left any leeway for your opponent, and that's it.
Yes. See, please go ahead.
So, Toastmaster D, I would say that your speech was very compelling and engaging. The way you speak and the way you put your point, it was very well organized. And I must say that in the first part, you didn't give an example, but in the second part, you came with an example that like places like Goa, that what is happening and how the small kind of drugs will lead to large kind of tourism, and later it will impact. So you have covered many points, and you were very you were to the points, and you were also talking well. So what recommendations I would say that uh, when you were talking against the other person, you could have picked his point, like he say that the drugs are not available in the small villages. So you could have countered that point that now it is not that the case, that it is easily available, and this is not a good idea, that if the medicine is not given, then we should give drugs or something kind of thing. And also one two more examples if you could give in the first minute of your speech. The second was extremely impactful. First was fine, it's okay, it could be little much more, but I personally liked your speech. It's like and the way you speak is also very good. I simply like it.
Yes. Now, my general comments, I totally agreed. I mean, we just spoke whatever was going on in my head, exactly what was going on in my head. I mean, I even could not think that, that we can come up with such a thing. Your explanation was bang on. Just the way you could have presented it, that could have been improved. D also started well, but he did not have that content in his first speak when he was speaking for the first time. But the way he asked questions, with that energy, again, it comes to how you put it than what you say. It's generally said about giving speeches. So that was strong in D. His voice modulation, inflection, and the stance that he took, the manner in which he presented, that sounded just too convincing. Although your point was stronger, A, in the first part. And that's the only feedback. A, you have a very good thinking, and you have very good examples. Just please improve. You might improve in the manner part, that having more energy and asking more questions to the audience might help you to elevate your position in that debate. Whereas D, I really like, I mean, I guess you are a DTM, maybe that is why you have practiced it all through. And the way you convey it is very interesting. And at the end, you just ended it well. Totally agree with what Munish has said. All right, guys. So the second round is done. And before we start the third round, let me please take a group photo so that I don't forget it at the end. And yes, please pose. Yes, thank you so much. All right, let me begin the last and the final round. We'll have two rounds in this round, main round. And now it will be B versus C, and B would go for against, and C would go for. B for against, C for. D will be evaluating B, D will be evaluating B, and A will be evaluating C. Okay. Balveer, again you're evaluating Munish. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think you choose the same pattern of the last round, right?
Last, yes, I could not come up with a different pattern. So maybe no, in the first round, I guess you were in
No, no.
for against. So this time you were in for.
Maybe me and D and B can go at this time because we haven't.
C and A, B and D. This is the last option left, I think.
Yeah,
B and D. B and D
yeah, that
come
did
together.
happen.
C and A.
C and A and B and D. Okay. Yes. Thank you for that. Uh, okay. A and C, B and D. Let me just arrange it. And B and D can evaluate. A, C, and A. Okay. Now we'll go A versus C. Okay. And B will evaluate A. D will evaluate C. Okay. Yes. And for okay. Just a minute. Just let me give the topic. School uniforms should be optional. School uniforms should be optional.
Purva, I'm speaking against or for?
You are C, right? So you're for.
School uniform should be optional.
And your 1 minute starts now. Okay, 1 minute is done. C, please go ahead.
When I went from school to college, there is a change that I couldn't understand. In my school days, I used to wear a clothes, and I wore that clothes for maybe the dress code was same and I wore for 10 years. But when I went to college, there was no such rule that we have to wear a same kind of clothes. So that really made me very low, like introspective, and I was always thinking that what things I am wearing or what I should wear or what I should not wear. So I want to say that uniform has played a very, it has a very important role in a student's life. What we wear and what and how we see others, it is very important that we should learn from the school age that these things are should be learned, that the things we wear or the kind of wear, the things we should wear, so that when we grow up, it does not matter, and it does not come to our mind that these things are, we are not, we don't know, or we have to learn a new thing. So it is important that in the school age itself, we should learn about the kind of uniform we wear, because now in the modern world, it is important, very important, that what you
Switch.
wear at what time you wear.
So I feel the dress should be mandatory in schools. Purva, just I take 1 second, please. So I need to speak in favor of or against of the school uniform.
Against. Against.
Okay. So it
Wait, just a minute. Just a minute.
He have to speak in favor of it.
Favor of it.
Yes, yes. I have spoken.
You were given against.
yeah, that is what I got confused.
So
Okay.
he has
How
to.
I speak in favor.
You just let me confirm it. Okay.
Okay.
You took Munish, you were for against?
Yes, I was against the uniform in
You
the
were.
school.
I said the topic is school uniforms should be optional, and yes, it should be optional. So you spoke for, right? That it should be optional.
I
Yes, it should be optional, right? It should not be made compulsory.
yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
that is for. That means he is for against. I was right. Yes, I told it correctly. Yes.
So
So you are against that the school uniform should be compulsory. That is for
uh,
what?
I, I strongly believe that school uniforms should be mandatory because it teaches us the discipline and it reflects the unity in the schools as well. Whenever we are in schools, if we are sitting in different bench and every child has their own style, how it will look? It will look like a circus, and they will make their own style, their own hairstyle, their dressing sense. And nowadays, as in modernization, people have different of clothes. So I don't know what kinds of clothes they can wear in schools if there is no restrictions on the attire. So I strongly recommend that it is mandatory to have a dressing code in the school. It will teach the children discipline, and it will also build a sense of unity from the school life. So I feel that it should be mandatory.
Yes,
So my
switch.
friend,
Yeah.
I think that the things that we are not going to use in our future, in the age that we are doing job or something, we are not going to wear those things. Then what is the need of those things that we should learn or we should go through when we are as a kid? So there are many now schools opening. They are called creative schools. In those schools, the only idea is that they work on the mind, not on the what they are wearing or what kind of family they are from. The main idea is working on the mind, and it is important that the kids should learn that their main focus should be on the skills and on their mind. So what they are wearing, and it is their personal option that whatever they like to wear or how they like to get comfortable with this. Because in first 15 years of their age, if they're not comfortable with their dressing sense, and after then when they come out of the school and they immediately go to those things that they have to wear, so they it is not comfortable for them, for many kids.
Switch.
So I don't agree with you. It's not about the comfort. We are not there going for the comfort and enjoyment. That is, we are going there for learn. And we what the first thing is we need to learn the discipline in life. Discipline is the foundation step in child's in our life. Other thing is it will also build a sense of equality between the children. If we know that in our society there are people who are rich, who are poor, some people are poor. If the schools allow the children to wear the clothes of their choice, then I it will be a discrimination with the children who cannot afford that costly dress. So the people who can afford, they can obviously buy anything for their children. They can buy the costly bags, costly shoes, costly dresses. But in the same class, if there is some person whose parents cannot afford that much cost, he will feel a little uncomfortable with that same age, same child, and in the same school. And that will also feeling different.
Yes, we are done with the 4 minutes. So I have to mute you, A. Now, B, please go ahead.
So I will be evaluating A just to be
Yes,
sure.
yes, yes.
Okay. Speaker A, I think that it was perfect. I don't think that it could have been improved in any way because it was just bang on, and the simplicity with which you spoke, like what will happen if this happen doesn't happen. It was just so relatable. It was too good, and I think that your content was bang on. It was perfect, and you also brought in the economic because when you were actually speaking, you actually had that in the latter portion of your speech, and when you were speaking, I was thinking that why isn't he bringing the economic side of it, that the rich poor thing, and then he suddenly brought that. So even the one point which I had, you took it at that point of time. So I think that it was perfect. Definitely, a more enthusiasm is needed because you could have structured it really well, and you could have actually, thought of that. Okay, I would be speaking in model, and then I would be moving forward to economic part of it. So I think that the structure part needs to be done, but your content is just too good. And it's the second time I'm evaluating you, and I think that your points are just too good. You are just carved out for debate. It's just that a little more enthusiasm and finesse with which you speak, you to be a perfect debater. Over to you.
Yes. Thank you, Dee. Dee, please go ahead.
Yeah, so coming from a college which has a uniform, so C really touched my heart. So I think you were very good with your points, especially how you explained that there will be like uniforms don't play such a huge part when we grow up, or how it doesn't like actually required in order to have a healthy school or a nurture creative minds. My only recommendation is that you could have included two very important points, that when it came to the economic aspect or the bullying aspect, you could have argued that uniforms didn't stop bullying ever. Bullying happens even after wearing uniforms or having the same kind of dress or sportswear or anything that has. And the second thing is that how uniforms restrict our individual rights. Like many times we want to wear a ring, or we want to wear a kada, or I don't know what they say in English, then sometimes schools take away that in the name of uniform. So you can have just added those 2 points, which could have made it even more tough. That's all from my side.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dee. And one point that Munish, I think you could have added that uniforms do not, increase your intelligence, right? They are not at all responsible. I mean, there should be some sense in, making the children wear uniform. If it would have increased their intelligence, then it is right, but it really does not make sense. So you could have added that point as well about intelligence, that it does not impact or it is not at all correlated. So it should not be mandatory. And for A, I would say what B said is that you should be enthusiastic. And I said the same thing in the previous evaluation. But I think A really focuses on having good arguments, and that requires a thorough understanding. And he really thinks, and that is why he takes time to explain it. So he's very good at the comprehension point. He makes sure that whatever he speaks, it is understood by the audience. So that is why maybe he might not seem enthusiastic on the surface. So what you can do to seem, we need both, right? You need to be on the, you should have good structure and good points, but you also need to be enthusiastic. For that, you need to keep on practicing this, speaking on the spot continuously. The more you do it, the more, it will come automatically in your head. And then you can also, then when it becomes automatic, then you can focus on the other side, the delivery part, the stance part, I would say. So keep practicing it. All right, so we are done with the first sub round of the final round, and we'll move to the final sub round of the final round. Yes, now it's
Actually, I thought we would be ending here, but I'm so happy that it's going to be there one more round.
Okay. All right. Yes, so it's B versus D, and C will be evaluating B. C will be evaluating B, and A will be evaluating B. Okay, is it?
Again, I got A will be evaluating.
D.
You'll be evaluating me. Yeah.
D as in delta. Okay.
Yeah.
D one. Yes, and C will be evaluating B.
B, okay, fine.
B, yes.
So,
And
Poorva,
B will be for D against. Clear?
B
All right,
against.
let's. Yes, B. Are you saying something? I can't hear it.
B is against, right?
B is for.
Okay, B is for.
D is for against. Okay, now since
So
this
I
is
will be again.
Yes. And let me choose some interesting topic, because this is final one. Okay. Should high school students study world history? Should high school students study world history? Okay, your 1 minute starts now.
Mine, right, for the topic.
Yes.
Okay. So we are
Just a minute. 1 minute means you are given time to think. You are given time to think. Although I'm very happy that you people seem so enthusiastic. You want to begin right away. Okay, 1 minute is over, plus one more surprise. Now I won't say switch at 1 minute. It is upon my mood when I want to say switch. Okay, so you have to switch accordingly. Okay, D start.
In a world which is exponentially growing, in a world where we don't know what tomorrow is going to happen, does it really impact us to know dates and times of a particular event? Does it really impact us to know what happened when or what happened where?
So injustice anywhere is actually an injustice everywhere. Now, the sort of globalized economy that we live in, where the interconnectivity among economies has actually been at the helm, and it has actually never been so much. So we are actually living in a global village. Now, how it would be that one of the participants, one of the elements of it wouldn't be knowing what has actually the other element has gone through. So if one of the country isn't actually very cognizant of what has actually happened in some other country, so I think that there would be some sort of miscommunication, and the emotions might actually be played or fiddled in some sense. For instance, let's say Germany, the history of Germany, the Nazi that we have got, it was a learning for each and every one of us that how a fascist ruler can turn out to be, how totalitarian society can actually be, and how we need to actually curb a totalitarian or a fascist ruler in order to ensure that there's no anarchy. So I think that there are certain learnings that actually can be derived from the world history of various other countries, and it can actually impact a particular individual's, a particular country's psychology or the way it formulates its policy. Because mistakes of, so you can also learn from mistakes of some other, and history is definitely created when things go either don't go wrong or either go wrong, and that's exactly when the history is created. So I think that the we can actually learn a lot from some other
Switch.
countries.
In a world where any information that you want can be available in one click through Wikipedia, I don't think we should spend so much of time and efforts of our high school students mugging updates continuously and just fearing their heart out to fail in their history exam. I think we should be more concentrating towards futuristic subjects like accounts, futuristic subjects like mathematics, where it's not all about dates, where it's not all about what has happened in the past, where it's all about reinventing yourself in the future. So I think we should really need to concentrate. And when it comes to Nazis and fascist rulers, we can all include that in a moral science or psychology class. I don't think we should really know what happened when or what happened where. We just need to know what they have gone through, or how we should be sensitive to them, or what comments we should or shouldn't make. Well, not that what happened when or how, what the history of Holocaust is.
So the thing is that when we actually study facts, and if that fact is discarded, we disregard the virtues and we only study the fact, it actually creates an unresponsible citizen. And this is exactly what we don't want. Now, when we actually study the history of some other country, we are actually having a case study in front of us, and we can actually analyze it through characters. Now, the moral science, we all know, even you and I, all of us must have attended moral science, and we know how enriching those classes were. But when it actually comes through a form of a story, it actually channelizes those virtues to you, and it sort of inculcates in your system when you actually learn it through a case studies, when you write papers on it. So it actually gets there in your head, and it's you sort of
Switch.
vibe it.
How many times do we see in history books experiences of people? Do we learn more about Holocaust from a history textbook or from the diary of Anne Frank? I need a raise of hands here. So it's all about personal level experiences of what people have gone through. So it's not really about mugging up dates. When we talk about history, we talk about the subject history, where we are answered a 10-page question just to pass. So I don't think it's really that important than learning what's useful in the future, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to end here.
No, you have to
Or there's
continue
time.
speaking. Continue speaking.
Oh, okay. So, and when it comes to moral science classes, I do really think that sensitizing, like as you said, we're becoming a global village. I think sensitizing not only about people from other world, people from all around, different races, different cultures, different religions. It's not about what they have gone through. It's still about what they're going through. How many times we hear racist comments being slurred at people? How many times we see and insensitive LGBTQ comments being posted on Facebook? Do you think history textbooks can stop all of that? No, right? So our question here is that, do you really need to think high school students need to study history? Well,
Switch.
So I think that the thing is that in order to analyze a particular group of people's behavior, we need to understand that what has actually been experiences, the traumatic experiences, the mind-numbing toil or years of hard work that they have actually gone through. And based on that, we can draw our own inferences about those set of people. And now it is very essential for us to understand that a particular set of behavior that a particular group of people is actually showcasing, that is because of certain historical events that might have happened in the past that might have influenced your perception. So in order to have a gauge in and get a better understanding of those their perception, it is very essential to understand what they have actually been through, what the kind of experiences they have actually been through, and that is exactly what is need to be history. And what you are focusing on is the curriculum. We need to change the curriculum. We need to put forth history in some different fashion, and that is something that could be done. But the fact here is that history should taught or it shouldn't be taught, and it is very clear that even you agree to the fact that history should actually be taught. And regarding the LGBTQ and other community, I think that those are recent happenings, and someday some years down the line, I'm sure it could actually be a part of the history books, like say section 377 or many other stuff which has been actually happening. They would definitely be revised and put forth in the
Okay, switch. Do you want to say something? Yes.
yeah, as you said, history should be taught, or the curriculum could be changed. I don't think history should be taught. I think history should be understood by the people. History should be studied, not like history should be given in a piece of paper where we have to write a 10-page answer. Only then we are sensitized to the society. I think we are all having books, we are all having access to various documentaries to see what people have gone through. So, and how many times we've understood an impact that a society has gone through just from movies. So do you think history textbooks or teaching history in school has that impact, rather than a visual filmmaking or a painting which is being painted or any other art form? So I really think that teaching history is one part, but making it compulsory for high school students is another thing. They should be given a choice to choose from their field of subjects. It shouldn't be made a compulsion, because there are many other forms in which a person can learn about.
Thank you so much, D. We are done. 7 minutes. I took the debate for 7 minutes, and I must appreciate the participants. You all are very intelligent. You're really intelligent. The way you came up with so interesting points. I personally could have just brought up one or two points, but you're very creative, and I really like the way you both spoke. It was so interesting, and I made it more tough for you people, by switching often and with not some specific time period, but you nailed it. So I was really happy. It entertained me a lot. Now I'll leave it to the evaluators what they have to say. So A can go ahead.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Poorva. It was wonderful. And Speaker D, you look like a very trained speaker. Your thoughts are very organized, and I don't know how you get so many ideas. I am struggling with ideas every time, but you are getting ideas very quickly, and the way you are expressing the ideas, that looks like you are a very matured and trained speaker. So your organization wise, it was perfect. I enjoyed it, and you had a lot of points to discuss, and you to counter attack also. One thing I felt, it's not like you were too much, but I felt like sometimes you were little more expressive. So I wanted to see a balance of both. It is great that you are excited to speak about the topic, but as a leader's language, if we can balance that language, that body language also, not to be a little more dramatic, not don't use my words, I don't know a dramatic word is appropriate to use, but a little, I felt that more expressive you were. Apart from that, you are already a great speaker, and I wish you a great learning and the good debates I will see in future. Over to you.
Yes, C, please go ahead.
So for B, I would like to say that, as Poorva has mentioned, that it really needs intelligence and knowledge to speak these kinds of points like you spoke. If I'm thankful to Poorva that she has not given me this kind of topic. Again, I would have given just 1-2 points. But you have a very the style in which you speak is like a professor kind of style. You don't fight. You just go to the knowledge. You speak about that particular knowledge or that particular thing again and again, and you also don't get excited or angry at the points of the opponent. You just talk about your own points, your own idea, and about your content. In the first part, it was very great. The Germany thing you came out with, that people should learn, that what these people have gone through, and also that what we can gain from that kind of a knowledge. It is important. And in second also, I just give you recommendation that you could have countered D in many ways, and you could have pointed that people should learn these things and why it is important. As for example, we have on our note we have the photo of Mahatma Gandhi. So if people don't know that who is Mahatma Gandhi and how he gave us freedom, so it is important for us to know those things. There can be some things that we can change in the history, but it is not that history is not at all important. It is very important subject. And but overall, I personally like the debate of both the people B and D, and they were. And one thing I recommendation I just want to give that like D is using his body language and hand movements. You could have also used it to express yourself, because it is a debate sort of thing. And like voice modulation and body gestures could have more made your speech more impactful. Over to you, Purva.
Yes. And one feedback that I would like to add for B is that when I first said the switch I gave you, I almost dragged the speaking time for you for about more than 1 minute, because I wanted to see if we could come up with more examples. But I felt that it became repetitive. You talked about one point about Germany, and I was expecting after 30 seconds to change, but that came very late. Maybe after I said switch 3 or 4 times. So maybe there you could have thought of new examples there rather than repeating the same part. Still, I feel the overall debate was fantastic. I was entertained. Paisa vasool wala thing was happening there, and I must appreciate B that you're. I think you must love history, that you have so many examples always ready with you to tell to the audience, I guess. So, do you love history by any chance?
No, I actually don't love history. I love reading pictures. Reading that out, from reading that, I realized that okay, yes, I could actually use it somewhere. This holocasting entire German thing. So it's just the references that I did. And Holocaust, I'm sure, look, history तो पढ़े ही होंगे हम लोग सभी।
हाँ, बराबर है. Yes. All right. All right. So, guys, we are done with all the rounds. So, I took 2 into 3, 6 rounds today. I hope that you learned something today with the technique that I had shared, the M3 technique, and you enjoyed the evaluation. And I would like to take the feedback from you all. We'll start with A.
Yeah, Poorva. I was too nervous to attend the session, really. I tried to join it yesterday, and every day I try to join, but I always used to feel that I'll not be able to speak anything. I was so nervous. But today I could speak. I'm very happy, and I'm so thankful to you. You admitted me, and you created such a wonderful platform for the people. So I wish I will join more sessions in future. But this was the first time I participated in table topics in such form, and I really enjoyed it. Many thanks to you, Poorva.
Thank you so much, Balvi. Yes. Yes, Mohit, please go ahead. Yeah, Mohit, are you there?
Oh, yes, I'm there. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
So actually, it's the third day when I entered. I haven't been admitted for the last 2 days. One day, you actually admitted me, but actually I had my audio disconnected due to some reason, and you removed me from the meeting. And second day, I wasn't actually admitted. I was late, little late. So, but I'm so lucky that I at least got to be, and I love this session. It was just too good, too good. And trust me, it happens, like we are having our placements in college, so we have the GDPI training sessions and other stuff, but none of it was as beneficial as this one was. And I think that if only all the clubs could actually conduct this, I think that the learning could be heightened to another level altogether. It was just too good, and the entire debate thing and all, and actually sort of stimulates one's thinking as well. Because like if I would have given that narcotics topic, so narcotics, no, sorry, that soft drug one, I wouldn't have actually spoken anywhere else. But it was so good to see that them making arguments, such logical arguments. So it was just too good, too good. Like there's no word for it. I just really loved it this session, and thank you so much, Poorva, for conducting. Poorva, there's a question for you. Like, why do you conduct this session? Like, uh, there's a thing, right? Because see, if in my club I'm asked to be a table topic master, I do think in and there's some sort of thing that okay, I would be playing a role, but you do this voluntarily every day. So like, you feel that you'll get something out of it.
Uh, what was the last question?
Like you feel that is this a great learning experience for you as well? Like you do this every day, like probably it's regular thing.
Yes, actually, I started it because I wanted to put out my creativity somewhere. I just had so many ideas, and I did not want it to. I did not want it all that to go waste. That is why I started it. That was my thought, in starting them. And not only I will be able to showcase my creativity, but it will also help the other members of the Toastmasters community. So in both ways, and I would be learning to host to the sessions and all. I have
Yes.
been introvert, and I do not enjoy talking to people as such, but this would just force me to get out of my comfort zone and attempt the different things. So that is why I did it. That's the thought.
You are doing an excellent job, and it's a great platform. I feel that if I continue talking like this in 1 month or 1 month, I can become a good speaker as well. I was not daring to attend the sessions really. It's a wonderful, wonderful platform. As the kind of person I am, I just need a platform to get on the track. That is what I was looking for, and I joined Madhapur Toastmasters last year, but I could not continue due to this pandemic and personal situations. Then recently I rejoined it, but I also told them to start such sessions like I gave your example there. Maybe they can consider it in future, but we need some volunteer like you. But to be honest, it's a really for me the way I think or the kind of person I'm, this is a perfect platform, and I really feel that I can improve very fast on this platform. Thank you so much to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for those kind words. And yes, Munish has been a participant in my session from the first session, okay? From the first session. And he regularly joins my session every day, each day. And I'm so happy, Munish, that you were by my side till now. Thank you. And now I would also take your feedback, how you felt about the session?
So, like all the sessions, I think this is again a very good session. And you told that I have been joining for 10 sessions, but I think you should not have told this, because they think that I am not a good speaker. I have not learned a lot. Because he's saying that he's not a good speaker and he's not able to join this. But I see that he's a very good speaker. I mean, he seems to be very accomplished speaker, not a very normal but very good speaker. And in that case, when I think about myself, so I think that I should not join session. But about the session, I say that this is a very unique session, because it is the first time I have been in a debate kind of a thing where people are listening. Otherwise, I am mostly a debate kind of thing. These things go in our home or places like we debate in the family only. But this is the first time I'm debating with a person. And second important thing is like it is very important that what your opponent is saying, you have to listen to him, because in a normal table topic, if you're given a topic, so you will just speak whatever is coming to your mind, and it may be a logic or illogical, you don't care. But here it is important that you have to go to the point, you have to chase your opponent, like what he's speaking, you have to go to the, you have to take it that also. It was a unique session, and it is again and entertaining, and I learned a lot, and I really enjoyed the session.
Thank you so much, Munish. And let me tell you, everybody has a different style, and everybody takes time. No, everybody's rate is very different. And from the first session that you had joined, I guess, Munish, you are still the same. I won't say that. I mean, it's not about improvement and all thing, but you were always a good speaker in your way. You had that power to entertain. You had that humorous thinking, on the spot thinking, which A had appreciated today, I guess. He also commented you for that you have a fast thinking. And everybody has a different approach to speak. So we might not just compare ourselves with others. You are really good. Trust me, from as a host perspective, I really feel you speak well. You have your own style, and that's good. So keep it up. And also, guys, if you are not a part of our members, Sihagarh members, friends group, then I'll share the link. So you can join there, and we put up things, and we'll also come up with other new initiatives. There are a lot of things going on, and I'll put it there in the upcoming weeks. You can join there and watch it. Okay, we share that only in the friends group. Okay, that is why I'm asking you to join there. Yes. So guys, yes, that's for the